Hey guys, Alex Kozora from SteelersDepot.com here to do another Talk to the Tape, bloggers and basements talking Steelers. As we're going to go over a little bit of the Patriots game, answer any questions you have about that game, or just about the team in general, where they've been, where they're at going forward. Really, whatever's on your mind. So I think we're going to wait for some people to start joining the chat. I'll start running the tape through. If you're looking at the archive version of this, we're just kind of getting things started and posting the link in a couple different places, just so people can see it. And we will, get started here soon. Got a couple people watching already. Appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, if you're new to the chat, you can ask a couple different ways. You can ask through the YouTube chat that's already on there. You can ask through the comment section of Steelers Depot, and you can ask via Twitter. And if you don't know my Twitter handle, it is at Alex_Kozora, Kozora. Please let me know if there's any problems with the audio or your stream. If it's choppy, if the audio is too loud, too soft, or just anything that doesn't sound right or look right with it. That'll be a big help for me. Just to make sure that things are running as smoothly as possible. So I love talking to you guys. Love getting questions in. More people that ask, more fun these things are. They're usually not as exciting whenever people aren't asking questions or the chat isn't particularly busy that day. You just hope that it's good for the day, and there's a lot of people that happen to be around. But that's usually when it's at its best. So if you have a question or just want to say hello, that's always great. That's kind of how this thing works at its best. But we'll leave up the stream, the game tape, and we will go through a couple different plays. If we don't get a whole lot of activity in the chat, just to give us something to do. So if you're watching it now, you don't have a question, which is totally fine. Or if you're watching the archive version of it, and instead of me just sitting here in silence for the entire time, it's kind of fun to go back and at least look at a couple different plays, just to give us something to do. So if you have a question, please ask it. I'm going to post a couple more different places just so we try to get as many people in as possible. We run this for about, it depends, about a half hour to an hour, just depending on how busy the chat is that day, how much time I have, if there's any sort of news that comes out that I gotta get to. Right now, there's nothing. Bye week, pretty quiet. So yeah, go ahead and ask a question. I'll let this thing run through, and we'll kind of officially get started here in just a moment. Dylan says I need to turn my mic down a little bit. Okay. Thank you, Dylan. Actually, let me know if it's any better. I'm going to turn the mic down in my encoder. Test. Turn it down a little bit more. Test. Dylan, let me know if it sounds any better. If I need to turn it down more, I certainly can. Appreciate the feedback. Hate having bad audio. It's definitely one of my pet peeves, so I appreciate the heads up. So yeah, let me know if that audio is better. I can lower it more. I took it down a little bit. I'll turn it down maybe a little bit more. And hopefully it sounds better now. Hopefully. That's a bit better. Okay. Does it just sound just too loud, Dylan, or is it like over modulating, or? Alright, I turned it down a little bit more. Okay, let me know if that's better now. Hopefully it is. If not, I can keep playing with it. I hate to do a question and answer if the audio doesn't sound as good as it should. And so hopefully everything is a little bit better right now. I think I finally have the link posted in the places that I wanted to post it in. That's better. Someone was too close. You're probably right about that. I have this is a relatively new headset that I have, and the mic's a little funny to try to adjust and stuff. I always end up bumping it because you can't swivel it and put it up by your ear when you don't want to use the mic. It's always kind of down by your mouth, so I always end up bumping it a ton. I'll move it away from, but I can adjust it away from my mouth. You're probably right. It was probably a little too close. I always have the mic too close, but hopefully it's better now. Thank you, Dylan, so much, man. Appreciate you being on the chat for the last couple weeks. I know that you're one of the couple guys, Joey as well, and a couple others that have been around. So if you have a question, of course, feel free to ask. If there's a play that you or anyone else in the chat would like to see, whether it's Gronkowski, long catches, the touchdown, the 37-yard catch, any of the big runs the Steelers gave up, any of the good plays for Pittsburgh. There were some of those too. Antonio Brown, 51-yard touchdown, or catch, excuse me, not touchdown. Darius Hayward-Bayes, 14-yard touchdown. We can go over that. Any particular play as well. We can talk about. I do want to, if we don't have any questions immediately, there is one play that I do want to look at. Let me know also if the stream is working well too. I just got a message from YouTube saying the video output is low, but it looks okay, at least from what I'm seeing right now. But yeah, just let me know if there's any issues with that as well. But what I do want to look at is just some of the early problems Pittsburgh had with their contain rush, and it allowed Tom Brady and the Patriots to extend drives and move the ball on third down, and it was super frustrating. And they go, I think, 5 for 5 on third down to start the game. I think they finish, I forget what they finished, 7 of 11, 7 of 12. But early on, the Patriots did a great job on third down, and there were several issues for that, as there you can imagine always are. But I think the contain rush and the spacing was not where it needed to be. And I want to look at a couple of these plays here early on this drive. If I can find them. I think this is one of them here. I don't have them off the top of my head right now, but we'll find out together. Yeah, this is one of them here, and it just kind of shows some of the poor spacing problems. I just want to make sure this is definitely the right one. Okay, it is. This is a 4-man rush, and the Steelers dress things up a little differently, so actually I want to go back here and just kind of show. Keith Butler's not being aggressive in terms of his blitzing, but he's doing a lot of looks, and he's trying to mix things up, and he's trying to find solutions and problem solve, and I can appreciate that. So one thing that they did this week, and they've done before, they have Anthony Chickler with his hand down a lot. They did it 11 times this week. Usually it was him just as an outside linebacker, outside shoulder the tackle. This time they're going to kick him inside, basically playing like a 3-tech. They move Vince Williams, who's usually an inside linebacker. He's going to move and become the outside linebacker on this play. But it ends up being a 4-man rush. Jarvis is going to drop. Vince is going to drop. Timmons is going to come along with your 3-down lineman, Hargrave and Tuitt. But you need to have spacing, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're blitzing 5, 6, 4, even 3. You need to have spacing and contain as a pass rush, because even if you have a great blitz that gets home, if you don't have the spacing and the contain, you're going to give escape lanes for the quarterbacks. And even a guy as slow as Tom Brady can make you pay. That's what happens here. So we get a 4-man rush, but you need to have contain. And what happens is Chickalo gets sealed to the inside and was playing 3-tech, but he's got to work to get to the edge here, like Tuitt is, to be able to contain. So there's a wall that Brady can't escape to. So when pressure happens, like Hargrave up the middle, there's nowhere for Brady to go. He can't step up. There's pressure there. He can't go left. Tuitt has it contained. He can't go to his right. Chickalo has it contained. So that's really unfortunate here. This is a great chance to get off the field early, and they just fail because Chickalo cannot get outside contained.
So he gets sealed to the inside. There's now a lane for Brady to escape to. Look at Tua here. If Brady was trying to go to his left, he couldn't because Tua's getting upfield. He is being the contain man. Chicolo, not the contain man here, gets in the same basically gap as Lawrence Timmons. So all that pressure that Hargrave got is all for naught because now Brady's able to get to the outside, extend the play, make the throw, pick up the first down along the sideline. Really disappointing. Hargrave does a nice job. I think Chicolo 3-tech kind of threw off the guard a little bit because he's not even looking at Hargrave as Hargrave kind of shoots down to the, I think, what is weak side A gap, and he gets free pressure. But it's all for naught because Anthony Chicolo doesn't do his job, doesn't have good contain, isn't playing technically sound and playing within the confines of the pass rush and what he needs to do. And he gives up the edge, and Brady's able to extend the play and convert. It's a great chance for the Steelers to get off the field, and they can't do it. So that's super frustrating, as you can imagine. And they end up getting a touchdown a couple plays later. And it happens again on another third down. Same drive, 3rd and 2 this time. Similar problem, not with Chicolo, I don't think. We'll look at it again here. Let me double check here. Same idea, Chicolo hand down, basically playing 3-tech, Vince outside. Same blitz, 4-man rush. Now Chicolo, that's Chicolo's contain rush. That's a whole lot better this time. To be able to get, be that contain guy. So good on Chicolo for that. But Tua ends up not being able to hold his gap. He gets pushed by the left guard, creates a space. Brady's able to scramble, pick up the first down. Well, I mean, you could say Chick got held, but I don't know if he really got held. He just got to work. He's got to work outside. He's not even trying to work to the outside. If I saw him clearly moving to the outside and then he got held, okay, you can say, well, that's not his fault. He was trying to work to the outside and the guy grabbed him, and if the refs didn't call it. But I mean, there's no effort to be the contain rusher. You just compare what he's doing with what Stephon Tuitt is doing, and you can tell that Chicolo is just something. He didn't get the assignment really right. I mean, we'll look at it again here, just to confirm. But I mean, Chicolo, he hits a tackle with a punch, and he's not working outside at all. He's trying to work inside. I mean, he's got to get outside shoulder on this and be the contain guy like Tuitt is. I mean, there's not even an effort there. And then he comes inside again whenever he sees some pressure. I mean, there's no effort at all to be outside. Yeah, I mean, right there for a brief second, yeah, you could argue that he got held. I mean, I can understand that. As the old adage goes, there is holding on basically every single play. You could call it on any given play, but that wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have been held trying to get to the outside had he gotten to the outside earlier. I know that you probably agree with all that, Daryl. I mean, I can understand the frustration there, but I'm more concerned about what were you thinking, what did you do, and not the consequences of it and what happened afterwards. There's just no effort to get outside, and then he gets caught, and then he's trying to get outside, and yeah, he might have been held for a brief second, but he put himself in a bad place to begin with, and that's the frustrating part. This is the other one I showed, the Brady scramble. That's a little more understandable because the guard's kind of there. I think they're running a little bit of a twist with Tuitt and Timmons, but that happened again at some other point in the game too. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was another instance where Tuitt got pushed upfield, lost his contain, and Brady was able to take off and run. So contain's been an issue. It's really been an issue throughout the year. It's gotten better. Their spacing and their bunching has been better, but it's becoming a recurring issue. And that's another reason why I think 5-man blitzes are great, because you're able to have an extra gap, another guy in a gap, and you contain rushes a little bit easier, because it is tough to do with 4 guys. One guy gets bumped around a little bit, it's 5 on 4. If you get doubled and shoved out of a gap, it is a little difficult, like right here where Tua kind of gets doubled for a second and before the center peels off on Timmons and the guard has leverage and pushes Tua inside. So another great reason to go with a 5-man rush is it's going to create one-on-ones. It's a lot easier to, I think, contain it, and you have a better chance of getting pressure, of course. And Keith Butler's been pretty passive. Now this game, I understand why they didn't do a lot of blitzing. They didn't blitz 5 one time in this game, if you can believe it. They did not blitz 5 once, or rush 5. They only blitzed 4 times the entire game. Some of that early that you're seeing here, most of it early that you're seeing here. And so, but I understand that because Brady gets the ball up so quickly, it's impossible to blitz him. You can't treat every game like you have to rush 5. You still have to think about, okay, what works best, and I can understand dropping 7 into coverage a lot. I'm not saying it totally worked, and they got a lot of pressure anyway with the defensive line. I'll give them a lot of credit, but generally speaking, is the point I'm trying to make is
rushing 5 can have a lot of benefit outside of just pressure and getting sacks, but containing rushes, keeping the quarterback in the pocket, making him throw the football, or hold on to the football, which is going to then create pressure and sacks if you hold on to the football for 3.5 seconds. So, contain rush, little things like that. It's not going to be the number one issue of the game. Definitely not going to hear many people talk about it because it's not flashy, it's not big plays, but they're third down conversions, and they're keeping drives alive, and that stuff will frustrate the heck out of you as a coach, as a coordinator, as a player, and for me, and hopefully you, a fan. So something the Steelers have to work on. So again, here I'll ask Kozora from SteelersDepot.com. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the site, but if you're not, please check it out. I have great content there. Dave Bryan, Matthew Marks, myself, and several others. We do these live streams every Friday at 3 p.m., sometimes a little bit later. If there is a time change, I will definitely let you guys know, but doing these for several weeks now. Thank you guys for joining, Dylan and Daryl. Any other people that are watching, if you have a question, you can definitely ask through the YouTube chat, through the Steelers Depot comment section, or at my Twitter account, at Alex_Kozora, Kozora. We do this for about a half hour to an hour, depending on how active the chat is on a particular day. Just talking Steelers and, watching a little bit of film. So if you have a question, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll go through a couple of other plays here. We can look at a few plays before the 54-yard missed field goal. Sure, Dylan, of course. Let's see, when was that? The fourth quarter, I think. Yeah, definitely some conversation about that. This is what, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. Little play action here. Yeah, I thought Landry Jones. The biggest criticism I have of Landry Jones in this game, I thought his play dipped down as the game went on. He didn't really actually, go on that upward slope that you would expect once a guy gets settled in and comfortable. I thought his pocket presence really started to suffer as the game went on. And this play here, it isn't too bad. There's some plays later that we can show where and you probably remember them, where he's retreating from the pocket and he's running around, he's giving ground, he's rolling the wrong way, and just, wasn't quick with getting the ball out of his hand, not hitting his check down. I mean, this throw works to James. It's a little bit low, but it turns into an 8-yard gain, so I guess you can't knock it too much. But, there's a chance, if they hit Bell out of the backfield, know where your check down is at. I mean, that throw, to the sideline with the defender there, I mean, it ends up working out. So, he ends up being open, but I have no problem giving the ball to Bell in space. But this is the 8-yard gain. Not a whole lot there. This is probably the big play. This is the third down call that most people thought should have gone to Bell, and I'm not going to disagree with that. I'll rarely disagree with the argument of keep the ball to Le'Veon Bell, but, you can still complete 3rd and 3 passing the football. We've seen Steelers be aggressive on 3rd down before, but, there's a little slant flat combo over here, maybe something similar down here with Sammy Coates, and it's a time where I think Landry could have thrown that football, and instead he's running around, he's giving him ground, and he honestly, he could have thrown to Sammy Coates, and what I'm going to show you guys here in a second is Landry Jones should have run on this play. He probably could have picked up the first down. He's got to trust his legs a little bit. You see Tom Brady out there scrambling. Landry Jones can scramble a little bit too. He's not a terrible athlete. He's a decent athlete. Bill Belichick talked about what makes Landry Jones good. I think the first thing he said was he's an athlete. He's got athleticism. He needs to use that. I think it's this play. Yeah, it's this play. Coates gets pushed down. I didn't even see that. We'll run through the end zone, or the aerial view one more time. But a chance to hit Coates underneath, a nice little pivot route, but Jones is retreating. I mean, if he's standing tall in the pocket, there's really not a huge reason to retreat right there. I mean, he could throw that football at the first down. I know the linebacker's there. It's going to be a tight play, but just throw that you can make. Instead, Jones scrambles,
Tries to get to Bell. Bell's not looking for it. It's the whole Kevin Hart, thought you had it, and I dropped it kind of thing. But Jones could have scrambled on this play, and he's got to trust his legs a little bit more. It's a nice pickup by Bell, although Collins is like running into Bell's legs. But yeah, there was a little bit of heat initially. But and Jones resets here, but there's a huge lane. We all see it right here. And Jones, I know he's got his eyes downfield, but oh my goodness, you could drive a truck through that. It's 3rd and 3. Take off. You get 5. Slide and pick up the first down. The drive is staying alive. Like, I can't believe that Jones just decided, like, let's retreat, turn to our left for a right-handed quarterback, back up 10 yards, and try to hit Bell. You know, it's just, it was so frustrating when I saw this. I'm like, why is he not running? Just take off, man. You have legs. It's 3rd and 3. We're beyond the structure of the play at that point. Okay, let's just make a play. You don't have to sit in the pocket anymore. I mean, right there, go, run, forward. That's it. There's no X's and O's to it. You have a clean lane. There's bodies on the ground everywhere. Your right tackle's pushed the guy away. I don't think he's feeling heat from here. You probably can't even see it. Just go. And so this is one of the most disappointing plays in Landry Jones from a pocket presence. Just kind of an instinctual thing. And 4th and 3, Steelers try the 54-yard field goal, which, of course, I'm not loving the call, but Boswell's got a huge leg. He's got a fantastic leg, so it's not like it was impossible for him to make it. Yeah, I know. I mean, I can't look at that play enough. And that's why when I talk about how I think Jones kind of wilted as the game went on, that's what I talk about. I think his pocket presence really suffered. I think the moment when I got into him, some of the pressure maybe got to him. I mean, it's not like he was getting killed out there, so it's not like he was, justifiably skittish. He wasn't sacked 8 times. It wasn't the Eagles game, so... Yeah, maybe it'll come with time, Dale, but it's just, he's played some football before. I don't want to use that too much as an excuse right now. I mean, when it's that open, I mean, there's not a lot of nuance there. Just run, just go. I don't want to sit there and say, well, he's young, the pocket's open. Take off for the football. He just trusts himself a little bit more. He's a confident guy. I do think he trusts himself a lot. I mean, I don't think he's down on himself at all. I just think in that moment, he has to realize he has a weapon, his own legs. He can be a threat. And take advantage of that when you can. But yeah, here's the missed field goal. I'm not the kicking guru. I don't really know what happened here. I mean, the Patriots aren't even trying to block it. It's just very wide right. Boswell knew it the second it left his foot. I mean, he knew he whiffed on it. I mean, it's a tough kick, but he knew it. I mean, it's right there. He knows. Yeah, it's a miss. So that's what happened, leading up to the missed field goal. And then what the Patriots get? They get a touchdown on this? Is this their Gronkowski one? No, that was the drive before. But so that's what happened on that play. Yeah, that was a disappointing sequence. So if you have a question, let us know. If you have a play that we want to look at, let us know. Again, you can ask through the chat, through Twitter, through Steelers Depot. We'll be here for a little bit longer. We've broken down the Gronkowski touchdown a good bit. I want to look at again just the other catch that he had, and we broke that down on Monday too on Steelers Depot, but just another good opportunity to look at it, I think. And just Steelers being in some tough spots, matchups I wasn't the biggest fan of. Very surprised that Justin Gilbert did not play a snap in this game, considering they used him against Travis Kelce and Quincy Enunwa and even Deion Sims against the Dolphins. To see him totally phase out against Gronkowski and Bennett was, to say the least, again, surprising. So Robert Golden got a lot of time on Gronk, and Steelers are basically just in man free here, cover one, man, free safety here. And Gronkowski has a fantastic route, and we'll break it down here more closely this next time through. But just burns Golden. Nice initial outside stem, gets Golden to open his hips, cuts back inside. Now Golden has to try to flip and turn. Remember, he's a safety, he's not a corner. It's not a really natural thing for him to do. Not something he has to do a whole lot, especially man coverage. And so Gronkowski back inside, Golden trying to get to the inside hip, thinking that route is bending across, doesn't want to get boxed out. And then Gronkowski stems back to the outside for a final time. Golden totally out of position, a lot of separation. It's tough play for him. Burns' effort is less than ideal. That's not the focus here, but I saw one person make a comment about it in the Depot comment section, and I can understand and agree. Nice pressure by Hargrave, all for naught. There are a lot of people complain about it. Pass rushers, I think they're capable. I don't think they're put in position to apply pressure. I can agree with that to an extent. Daryl, that yes, Butler, his 5-man rushes, 5-man pressure is way down. I mean, it's probably cut by more than 50% this year, and that is frustrating. It is tough to win with a constant 4-man rush. 3-man rushes are pretty uncommon. I would say maybe 5 to 8% of the time this year they've gone a 3-man rush. I don't have the exact numbers, so it's relatively rare. 4-man rush, though, has definitely been the dominant attack, and it hasn't worked. And while Butler's tried to scheme things and dress up those 4-man rushes in a variety of ways, you're right, they haven't worked. But I also think the personnel is just not very good. You have Jarvis Jones, who's never gotten really sacks in his career, and although he's playing relatively well, the pass rush is still not there. Arthur Moats is a high character guy who can do a lot of things for you, but he's not really a starter. James Harrison is 38. Bud Dupree, of course, is hurt. Anthony Chickolo in his second year. There's no standout guy, so I think the Steelers have constructed their edge guys poorly, and you're going to see a big investment in that this year through the draft, I'm sure. So it's a little bit of both. It's never ever just one issue, but I think that the construction of the roster, the personnel that they have, is far from ideal. And Bud Dupree better play well, not only when he gets back, but just in his career, looking big picture, because they need to hit one of these guys, because they missed with Jarvis Jones, and they need to hit with Bud Dupree. And we don't know Dupree exactly what's going to happen with him. He could have a good career. He could not. I was encouraged by the things he did as a rookie, but you wanted to see the next step this year, and of course you haven't had a chance because of the injury of the hernia. We'll look at Jarvis on that play. Yeah, but I do want to point out they're trying to, I think, control a gap on this play. So it's not that he's two gapping and taking the play head on. You're trying to crash down. I know it kind of looks bad, and I totally get that. But I think he's trying to play what is this, A, B, C, D gap here. He's trying to just shoot this gap. Usually when guys rolled up and things are kind of condensed like this, you don't have to two gap. You can just shoot through because you have the safety rolled down. And so I think Jarvis is just trying to secure his gap the best he can. And because the play is probably going off tackle, he's getting sealed down because that they're not running to that gap. And then Golden gets cracked here by Edelman. Edelman does a really nice job. Okay, he's got to try to make a tackle in space. That's tough to do on Blunt with a very small amount of space to play with. But Gee does not do a great job either. It's been an issue for the cornerbacks, especially Artie Burns. We've written about that a lot. He's got to get settled down. He's out of control. He's not coming to balance. He's all over the place. Head down, and Blunt cuts inside and makes a play. So a lot of issues there. Trying to get those edge guys, corners to come up and run support. Gay's usually good run support. I'm not going to knock him too much, but not his best play. Thank you guys for sticking around. Do you have a play that you want to look at again? Feel free to ask. Try to find let's look at a positive play for Pittsburgh. I know we've done a lot of the negative. There's a nice play here. Landry Jones touchdown here to Haybay. It's actually a similar concept that Cleveland Browns had in Week 5, just a little stack corner route. Different guy they were targeting, I think, but Hayward Bay's just going to run a corner to the pylon. No, you're right, Daryl. Yeah, Jarvis had a really solid game. It was one of the highlights of that game, so totally agree. Very, very fair point to make. 100% agree, Daryl. But yeah, just a little corner out here by Hebe. Really nice job to adjust for it. Again, a little bit of a stack creates a free release for AB. That's always smart to do. Hebe does a nice job there to work off the release. Good job at the top of his route. Create separation. Adjust to the football. It's a really nice play all around, and Hebe is excited, and as he should be. It's a great play by Darius Hayward Bay. No question about it. It's a nice throw by Landry to come off. Look for your second read. Fire it in there. There's Hayward Bay. 1, 2. It's a really nice catch. Kudos to Hebe. Nice job, clean pocket. Pouncey knocking down the arms of the nose tackle. It's only a 3-man rush. Tight window in the red zone. That's a big time throw for Landry Jones. Talk about an 8 in coverage in the red zone like that. Yeah, it's not easy. It's going to be a tough throw no matter where you go with the football. And so that's a big time play by Landry Jones. And that was second best throw of the day. I think he had the AB 151-yarder is probably a little bit tougher, but they're neck and neck. So it's a great job there by Landry. We'll look at another play or two here. Just this is going for the Hebe touchdown, leading up to it. Covered it for Depot, but just to look at it here in our chat, the 51-yard catch by AB, biggest play of the game. One of the longest catches AB's had in a long time, since November of last year. Gonna get a little clear out route here from Hebe. You're gonna get Antonio Brown on a crosser, what they call a spear route, where he's just gonna run across, and then you get a little check down option here. So it's a pretty heavy max protector looking for a deep shot here. I think Hebe's typically the first read. You kind of see where Jones' eyes are at. But the corner's going to carry. Safety over the top. It's not there. AB gets on top of Malcolm Butler, who's man coverage, who's trailing him. Hebe's route's going to clear out both of them. You're going to get that spear route here. Jones with a fantastic throw. Great job to lead AB. That's an incredibly tough throw. And it's a big 51-yard gain. We'll look at it from the aerial view again. DHB first read is also going to work as clear route. AB's going to come underneath and again what we call a spear route. Great route by AB. Get under Butler. Jones with a great throw. Big chunk play. So that's what we like to see. And if you didn't catch it, if both were theoretically covered, then you have Jesse James on a check release. Now James is covered here, but that would be your final option. Bell also comes out of the backfield late. Bell probably would have been the check down. Yeah, Daryl, that's great timing. Those two throws I showed you, the DHB touchdown, the AB long catch and run, were Jones' two best plays, bar none. We'll take a look from the end zone angle as well as you can watch Landry Jones. Yeah, great job to lead that too and create yards after catch. Yeah, that was Jones has a nice arm. He's great outside the numbers. Where he struggles the most is just kind of short, crossing routes where he has to lead the receiver. And let me show you here. Probably last play we'll look at just one of those problems that Jones has is, just trying to lead guys in stride. Now, does a great job there down the field. I think he's better down the field outside the numbers, but in between the numbers across the field, he leaves a lot to be desired. This is a third down play, first drive of the game for Pittsburgh. And, he's a little behind on this stuff. It's not egregious, but it's enough. Empty set, going to get a crossing route here from Grimble. Grimble's got a step corner. I think that's the corner of safety. Maybe Patrick Chung coming down hard. But clean pocket. Maybe there's a mechanical issue there where he's not really leading with that front toe enough. I'm not, Tom House. I'm not a quarterback guru, George Whitfield, so I think there might be a bit of a mechanical issue, though. He's just not leading the receiver. And so instead of this throw being in front where Grimble can catch it in stride, it's a little bit behind. And now Grimble has to work back for it. It slows him up some, gives enough time for the DB to to get on top of it, make the immediate tackle, and Steelers have to punt. We'll look at it again in real time. That's the issue Jones has. Some of those, crossing routes, his accuracy. It's not terrible, but it's bad enough. Where in college, you can probably get away with it, like you did at Oklahoma. NFL, no, not going to happen. And, this isn't just a one-time thing. This thing happen a lot. I wrote about it in my Lance Jones game plan before this game. I wanted deep shots. I wanted throws outside the numbers. I did not want to do a lot of the crossing stuff. And they generally didn't. I mean, you're going to have to eventually. You can't just completely avoid it. But you see some of those flaws with Landry Jones. That's one of them. And, cost the Steelers a chance to extend the drive on their first drive of the game. There's no guarantee Glenn was going to get it if you lead them in stride, but it's going to be a whole lot better chance. And so Jones was at fault on that play, not Xavier Grimble. So I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Daryl, thank you for being around, man. I appreciate it. We'll just kind of let this thing run through, see if any other questions pop in. There's a Jarvis Jones forced fumble. It's a great effort by Jarvis. I know Baltimore has a number of injuries, but I've only seen one of the games this year. How would you compare their defense to the Patriots? To be honest, Dylan, I've watched them when they're on locally, but I haven't gone into the coach's tape to watch them yet. I'm going to probably start maybe tomorrow or during this weekend, since, of course, Steelers are on their bye. So I really couldn't answer that for sure in terms of how they look this year. Now, of course, they're not going to look drastically different than they have in the past. I think they're similar in terms they have great interior defensive line, a lot of beef, a lot of size. The Patriots had Alan Branch, who is listed 350 pounds. He's probably even bigger than that, big number 97. I think that's him right there. Yeah, it's Alan Branch. Malcolm Brown as well, who's a high pedigree guy out of Texas, big interior plugger. The Ravens have similar and even better in some ways with Timmy Jernigan, who's more of a fire hydrant. He's not Alan Branch, but he's a great pass rusher. He's a tough guy to block. And then Brandon Williams, who's a big nose tackle, their new Haloti Nada. Brandon Williams is one of the best nose tackles in the game. So they have a great interior defensive line, similar to New England, probably even better than what New England has. Daryl, Jarvis Jones is Jarvis has a knack for the football. He's made some plays. He's got good instincts. He's good against the run. But it's just the pass rush isn't there, and that's what you got to do in Pittsburgh. But to go back to Baltimore, the secondary isn't as strong. They don't have. They added Eric Weddle, and he's done well for them. But the corners aren't nearly as good. Patriots have some good corners. They have some good depth. Baltimore struggled. Sharice Wright, who they re-signed, has been benched for poor play. He's got a thigh injury. I'm not sure what his status is going to be. They've had a lot of health problems, like Pittsburgh has had as well. They're a little multiple as well, Baltimore, like New England. So they're similar in that way. I would say that the Patriots have a better overall secondary. I would say that the Ravens have a slightly better interior defensive line, slightly, but similar. So that's kind of my brief comparison on them. But look for the Ravens scouting report in a week, next Friday, this upcoming Friday, and you will learn all about the Ravens defense. So, Jarvis, it's not all bad. I think he has a little bit of a bad rap in terms of people like to pile on and not recognize some of the good things that he does, but you just got to get sacks in Pittsburgh. And what does he have, 5 career sacks in 4 years? I know injuries have played a part. The wrist injury, I think he's always wearing that cast, or usually wearing it. Does he have it on this game? He's got a little less of a cast. I didn't even notice that. He had like a big, giant, like just almost sleeve to protect that wrist. Now he's got just a little taped up, so that might be good. He never used to play with that big black bulky brace that he would have on there, like last year. And this year he went to something I think that seemed a little bit slimmer, or at least it looked like it. And that's a good sign for me. That's why he had a better game, honestly. It's not a bad thought. Just because he's playing without that big, I don't think he has a brace on. I'm trying to get a good look at that. Yeah, he's got his wrist taped a little bit, but he is playing with something even more. Like went up his bicep before. Looked like Bionic Man or something. I think. And he's got a sleeve. I don't know. I don't want to get into this too much, but he's got some sort of sleeve. But I feel like he's playing with a little less casting on his arm than what he had before. Maybe that's a good reason why he's being able to use that hand a little bit more. But so there are a lot of mitigating factors. Rotating in with James Harrison, dropping into coverage a lot, right outside linebackers, and Steelers defense dropped more than the left. I think Jarvis dropped 25% of the time last year. Yes, there's a chicken or the egg argument. Is he dropping because he's less effective as a pass rusher? I mean, you can debate that all day. So there are mitigating factors of why Jarvis is not getting the sack production that you would expect. But bottom line is just you'll be getting more from a player that was a real true edge threat, and that's just not happening with Jarvis Jones. And Joey Porter's even acknowledged that. So I don't think Jarvis comes back. Even if the Steelers want him back, and I don't really know if they do, I think Jarvis would probably prefer, and this is me just guessing, but would probably just prefer a new start and just kind of starting over for a place that, where he's not the first round pick, where he doesn't have the weight of expectations on him and kind of all that. So that's just a guess, but I feel like it would probably be best for him just to go somewhere else, just because he wants to kind of go with a clean slate with a team that he feels really comfortable with. Plus, I don't know, maybe he eats the cold or something. He's a Georgia guy, he's a USC guy. I don't know if he likes Pittsburgh winters. Probably not. So maybe he wants to go somewhere a little bit warmer. Yeah, they're going to have to invest heavily. And this will be the last question here that I'm going to take off. But yeah, they need to draft heavily in outside linebackers. And I have done a lot of draft research, or really any, because I've been so busy with the season. But I've heard this edge class is pretty deep, so that's good. I've said it before because I get asked this about once a week. Who would you look for to draft? And the one name I think you're going to hear about a lot coming up to the 2017 draft for Pittsburgh is Carl Lawson, the outside linebacker edge guy from Auburn, who many thought was going to come out this past year, and be a high draft pick, but decided to go back to school for another year. So, I don't know exactly where he's going to go. Of course, things so much time before we have to think about those things, but I think he kind of fits that mid-round first pick where he's kind of pegged right now, and so that would, of course, maybe make sense where Pittsburgh might end up picking at. So Carl Lawson from Auburn's a name to hear. I mean, Myles Garrett's going to be probably the first defender off the board, the first edge guy, but he's going to be like a top 5 pick, so he's not going to be in play for Pittsburgh. Chicolo, they're trying to give him starts, give him more play time. I guess you could say jury's still out on him. Been some good. I don't know if he's really strong enough and physical enough to be great, run defender, showing his play again, not keeping contained. He's got to do more, be more detail oriented. Pass rush, more miss than hit, I would say. I mean, he had the forced fumble against Fitzpatrick and the Jets, but that was kind of the one play so far. So, Chicolo, I still say the jury's out because he's still so young, but I'm not really enthused with the play he's had so far. Alright guys, I think I'm going to take off. Daryl, thank you so much, Daryl and Dylan, for hanging out. Appreciate it. If you're in this chat and you haven't asked a question, you want to go back and see it later, you can go in the archives at SteelersDepot.com in the post, the bloggers and basements. It'll be saved there or on my YouTube channel right now that you're watching, Alex Kozora. If you want to come back next week, we're on Friday, 3 p.m. Every week. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon.